live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. See Sparky Fifer here today. No Mason Crosby, no Mitch Thunder Nellis. It's Sparky and Tommy Wirtz doing our best to fill in for both of those guys today. Thunder is back tomorrow, but then I'm gone the rest of the week, and Thunder fills in for me on my show. So there's that. Coming up this afternoon, Wisconsin Sports Daily and the leadoff show, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook with Tommy Wirtz, will be on location at Stenny's in Pewaukee coming up later this afternoon. For those of you that are in the area, out there in the Pewaukee area, come on out, hang out. We'll have T-shirts and stuff to give away out there. Looking forward to meeting everybody out in Pewaukee today. So again, from 2 to 6:30, we'll be out there broadcasting with the fan, Stenny's in Pewaukee. All right, Tommy. So Mason's off, Thunder's off. That means it's you and me. Ashley Washburn from WTMJ4 here in Milwaukee. Also sideline reporter, right, on the Packers TV network. So that's a pretty cool gig for her to have.
She was also at the Bob Uecker Celebration of Life game, so we can ask her a little tail end Brewers stuff if we want to. But yeah, Packer cut day, big day. Did you see what happened to Mitch Thunder Nellis today? Did you follow along with his social media?
No.
So he was supposed to board a flight today at, I believe it was like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Family, correct?
Yeah, flying from San Francisco. So here's his exact tweet. We took off from San Francisco just after 11 p.m. An hour in, a passenger caused a disturbance. We turned around. Law enforcement took him off at San Francisco, and now we are taking off again at 2:30 in the morning.
See what sucks about that? What sucks about that isn't the fact that Mitch was stuck on the plane. What sucks about that is that, you have small kids on the plane having to watch some idiot be a fool, whether, and who knows, was a person intoxicated, was a person having a bad day, person's got a lot of stress in their lives, whatever, who knows the situation, why the person was acting like a complete idiot. But either way, then if there's small kids on that flight, like obviously there are, because he's got kids, that's what sucks, right? It's like, Dad, what's going on? Why is this person acting like a fool, right? All of that stuff. And who cares about getting here late? Like, that's not even a thing. Like, you're just happy that it didn't escalate into something more, and there, wasn't more than one dude acting like a fool that you have to deal with on a plane. So, damn, that sucks. I've not had that. I've never had a plane turn around because of some unruly passenger one way or the other. So, very thankful for that. All right, coming up on today's show, Ashley Washburn, TMJ4, will join us coming up in the second segment, so 15 minutes from right now. Plus, as Tommy pointed out, it is Cuts Day. We'll keep you updated on the cuts throughout the day. Looking forward to that. Already a bunch.
I think we have a pretty big one coming in here now, too.
Yes, Isaiah Simmons gone. Who is reporting that?
Matt Zenitz. You want me to? Here, I'll bump this font up a little bit for you.
Matt Zenitz. Okay, I don't know.
This is all coming from Andy Herman, who actually just tweeted this out as well.
All right, so right now we're looking at Trey Hill, JJ Lippy, Johnny Lumpkin, no surprises there. Devontae O'Malley, no surprise. Tyler Cooper, James Esther. Easton Butler, by the way, on Twitter is amazing at this stuff every year. Tyler Cooper, James Esther, Cornelius Johnson. I like him. I hope they bring him back on the practice squad. I really like Cornelius Johnson. Isaiah Nair, I would take him back as well. He just got here, remember, before the last preseason game he had to play. And then Isaiah Simmons gone as well. How can anybody be surprised? I mean, if you watch the Dusty Eveleys of the world and those film analyst guys on Twitter and on social media, they were painting the picture very clear that he doesn't know what he's doing.
Matt Zenitz is of CBS Sports, national NFL and college football senior reporter for CBS Sports. His tweet out, Packers expected to release linebacker Isaiah Simmons, sources tell CBS. Simmons was the number 8 overall pick, posted combined tackles, just his stats from there. But Matt Zenitz reporting that from CBS Sports.
I mean, I don't think that's all that surprising. I was on with Jody McDonald over the weekend on our station on the Infinity Sports Network. And Jody McDonald's an East Coast guy, Philly guy. And we were talking about Isaiah Simmons. And like, I don't think he makes the team, because the only way he would make the team is if they're keeping him just for special teams. And I don't think they were going to keep him just for special teams at this point. And the other part of that was, would he want to be kept for special teams, right? So do you go to Isaiah Simmons and go, hey, dog, like, we're good, but you're playing special teams. You're really not going to play much defense. You good? Or do you want us to release you? Your call. right? Do you do that to Isaiah Simmons? Probably not. They probably just cut him. But I mean, that would be the conversation to have. Like, we'll let you go play defense somewhere else and move on from you. The crazy part about this too is all the love Isaiah Simmons was giving this coaching staff. Remember at the beginning of training camp about, man, they're actually letting me focus on one position. This is great. They got a plan. They got a vision for me and so forth. But again, as was pointed out, he was constantly just in the wrong places at the wrong times and just not knowing where he was supposed to be and just not picking up what they wanted him to do, it appeared.
Yeah, all he had to do was not look so lost every time he was on the field, right? Yeah. I mean, there was never even one play that could have been a standout, hey, look, he made that play, right? Oh, you remember when Isaiah Simmons did this? I mean, every time that his name was being called, it was for out of position, bad read, like everything that could have been pointed in the wrong direction. And I think a lot of people were just expecting him to make this team, not because he was going to play any significant role on the defense, but just like you said, he was going to make it for just special teams. And I think that maybe Matt LaFleur or why is his name escaping me?
Gutekunst?
Yeah, well, I was thinking the defensive coordinator now.
Jeff
Hafley. Yep. Why he could not, justify that to Bisaccia, like he's not worth keeping on the team if Christian Welch is having the preseason that he had. And we played the sound from Brian Gutekunst on the decision to cut Christian Welch last year, and you could hear how hard that was of a decision. He obviously didn't think that decision needed to be made 2 years in a row.
We don't know that yet.
Possibly. It would be.
We do not know that
I'm going to be pretty shocked.
Out in front of this.
I'm telling you right now, there's no way they only keep the linebacking situation right now is Cooper, Quay, and it's Tyron Hopper, McDuffie. They're going to keep just 4?
No.
Right.
But that
so the fifth linebacker.
I'm just hold on one second. Let me just explain myself. Listen, it's cut day. Okay. So then you have until Thursday or whatever, before you could start picking guys up or however this is going to work. Right. If they see linebackers floating out there that they like, that does not mean Christian Welch is guaranteed a job on this team. If they see somebody else out there that they might like better than Welch. I don't disagree with you that maybe today he survives and Welch gets through today. Very well could be what ends up happening. I'm not saying it's not going to be. If he makes it, it's specifically for special teams and Bisaccia stomping on a table going, yo, I get the last 3 or 4 guys on this roster at least to get to be my main core special teams guys. And Welch obviously would be one of those guys. It is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Live from the 1250 AM 105.7 FM The Fan Studios. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky in for Mason Crosby and Mitch Thunder Nellis. Tommy Wirtz, as always, other side of the glass. We'll talk more about these Packer cuts with Ashley Washburn from TMJ4 coming up at 9:20. We're just going to stay here on the Packer cuts as we have a running list here in the studio. And I want to get Tommy's thoughts on this wide receiver position because Malik Heath is a guy that I'm struggling with keeping. I'm just being honest. I'm struggling with keeping him. Like if the deal is, well, he's a good run blocker, or boy, he's really good on special teams, I guess maybe I can hear that, but I'm just not sold, man. Like that Will Shepherd kid out of Colorado, I think I'd rather take a flyer on Will Shepherd at this point than running it back with Malik Heath again. Dropping balls, I just was not impressed with what I saw. And again, you have a body of work with him from the last couple of years, so you know what he's capable of during the regular season. But you look at how this is going to start, and this is the other thing, right? Which guys are headed for the IR to start the season with a designation to return? Marshawn Lloyd, I think, is one, obviously, that we all think is going to happen, which then means that it's Wilson and Brooks going behind Josh Jacobs, which is fine. But at the wide receiver position, does that mean Reed starts there? Does that mean Wicks might start there at this point? We know Christian Watson is going to be there to start, and he'll be able to come back. I think it's speculation, but I think they were speculating maybe the week after the bye week, right? So that's second week of October. I think it's like week 6. Right, week 6 is what they're talking about for Christian Watson, at which point they would have to make another move at the wide receiver position, eliminating somebody at that point, depending on how many keep. That's what I want to see. Which wide receivers are gone? Cornelius Johnson and Isaiah Nair already 2 of the wide receivers gone. That's a position to keep track of. The other position I'm interested in is all these guys just loving John Fitzpatrick. Boy, man, you would think he was just some unicorn at tight end, as much love as all these Packer guys are giving John Fitzpatrick at tight end. Okay, he's a big, tall glass of water. He's bounced around the league a couple of times already. Folks, there's a reason why he's bounced around the league a couple of times. He did not turn into a Pro Bowler in a training camp. I'm not going to believe that. I'm not there. Musgrave is playing well. Tucker Kraft is playing well. We know they like Sims, but Sims kind of hasn't been much of a show, right, in preseason. Have we heard a lot about Sims? Have you heard a lot about Sims at tight end?
No, I have not heard a lot about Sims. I heard a lot about John Fitzpatrick, though.
A ton.
It feels like it would be a very unlike Green Bay thing to keep the fourth tight end, too. I think they'd probably want to try to practice squad Sims.
Right.
As far as the wide receiver position goes, I've said my piece on Andy Herman's show on Packet Radio before this. Like, I just want Julian Hicks to be that number 6 wide receiver so bad.
That's another one I would take over Heath.
Yeah, I think you know what we have with Malik Heath, right? And maybe the role on special teams, I just don't weigh it enough. But as far as catching the football as the number 6 receiver, I think Julian Hicks is the best of the guys that could make the team.
I'm going to say something else. We are automatically penciling in Savion Williams because he was the 3rd round pick. But Savion Williams has been hurt. And we have not seen a ton of Savion Williams necessarily at the end of the day, right? But he's a 3rd round pick, so he gets a spot.
Oh, yeah.
He hasn't earned that spot. If we're being honest, he hasn't earned crap. He hasn't earned a spot on this roster. He earned the spot by being drafted in the 3rd round. If he was drafted in the 7th round, see ya. He may not even make this team. But because he was drafted in the 3rd round and been hurt a majority of camp, that's how Savion Williams makes his team. If we go back to my conversation with Andy Herman a few weeks back, he's like, Savion Williams might be the most talented wide receiver in the room. And nobody's talking about this cat. But he's going to be one of these receivers that are going to be on this team going forward. So if we start talking about who's there, right? If Watson starts on injured reserve, and let's say Reed or Wicks starts there too, right? So if you have 2 wide receivers there, those are 2 open positions to where you can keep Malik Heath, you can keep your dude, and you can keep another guy, Shepard or whoever, on this receiving core, and then let them battle it out until those guys come back and see what happens. It would suck to lose 2 guys at wide receiver to an injured reserve deal.
If you have like a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being definitely, 1 being no chance, where do you have on Mecole Hardman on this roster?
0. No.
I think that
he was going to be special teams guy.
Right.
He's got rocks for brains based on what I saw in the preseason.
I agree.
Like, I can't trust him back there.
I agree, but I'm just looking at some of these moves with corresponding. If they don't keep 4 tight ends, if they put Marshawn Lloyd on designated to return, like, he's going to have a conversation on being, maybe they keep 7 and Mecole Hardman is the guy too.
I'd rather have Will Shepard.
I agree. I'm not saying, like, I'm not disputing
they gave Will
you.
Shepard the chance to return kicks this last game or whatever else. They gave him that opportunity, right?
Yeah.
If they think he can fair catch and maybe run 1 back or 2, I'd rather go with that because I know that he's got a lot of upside at wide receiver. Mecole Hardman, again, a guy that's been around the league, fast, right? That's how he's still in the league because he's a fast dude. I get that. I'm good at Mecole Hardman. Toodles. And I'm good on Malik Heath. Toodles to you too, dude.
Ooh, we got another one here. I'm updating the list for you, and you are gonna hate this one, man. You are gonna hate it. Oh, it's in bad font right here. It is your boy Taylor Elgersma. Tom Silverstein reporting that he is also now a part of the cuts as well.
We got to go to break. Ashley Watson, TMJ4 sports anchor, will join us coming up next. Follow on Twitter at Ashley J. Washburn. Ashley J. Washburn on Twitter. We'll get to her straight ahead. It's the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Time for your fan weather forecast. 61 degrees. Fair skies outside. Doesn't look like there's any rain in the forecast for today. Beautiful. High of 71. A low of 50.
It's helped him be able to get as many reps as he.
Don't worry, everyone. Jordan Love is okay on that camera, not so much.
You know, that was some crap right there. I gotta say, I was watching that when that happened. That was not nice by Ashley Washburn of TMJ4 at all. Like, it wasn't nice. I follow her on Twitter at Ashley J. Washburn. She joins us on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gerber Law. You can check her out on YouTube as well, as we are streaming all of our shows locally here on YouTube. Search The Fan Milwaukee on YouTube, video shorts. And again, check us out there. That wasn't nice to y'all. Like, you weren't nice about it. John Kuhn wasn't nice about it. Harlan wasn't nice about it. None of y'all. Without that cameraman, that interview's not even happening. Like, that is your lifeline to do your job. Like, everybody should have been over there. Dude, are you all right? Are you all right? Like, but no, it's all about the quarterback making $55 million a year. He'll be fine. The camera guy ain't making $55 million a year. That dude gets laid up with a broken leg or something. He's screwed. I felt bad for the camera guy, Ashley.
You know, I'll give that's Trace Browning. He's an incredible freelancer, does a lot of stuff with the Brewers as well. My mic was turned off pretty quickly after that. I can say that I was there checking on him. We had to go and get tape and fix the camera. But Trace Browning, incredible cameraman. He was okay.
Good.
He said there was a lot of people that had messaged him immediately when that happened, obviously checking to make sure he was okay. One of those interesting things about those sideline interviews, because the Packers are always careful about how we do them, because that's the reality of a situation when you do an in-game interview, is the possibility of a player like Kamal Haddon running off the sideline. We purposely position ourselves so the player can always see what's happening on the field, which is why you could tell that Jordan Love could see when somebody was running on the sideline. Sure. I was so focused on Jordan, I didn't see him. And obviously my cameraman is the one who's put in a position to possibly get hurt, which is kind of what happened, because he didn't know to move other than it getting really
Oh, I figured it out. So this is all Jordan Love's fault. Jordan Love almost got your cameraman killed because he didn't say nothing.
I wouldn't say it was Jordan Love's fault, but I'm glad nobody was. It was just more materialistic stuff, and we were able to finish the interview, and Trace Browning was okay. If anything, it just made for some very interesting TV after that.
Yeah, no question about that. Ashley Washburn, TMJ4, joins us. Follow on Twitter at Ashley J. Washburn, and she joins us here on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon. Sparky filling in for Mason and Thunder today. Tommy Wirtz, other side of the glass, producing today's show. So obviously you've been there through all of training camp. You get to do sideline reporting for the Packers TV network, which is a pretty cool gig too. What are your thoughts as you've been able to interact with Jordan Love and that type of deal throughout the last few months, as far as Jordan Love, the dude?
I mean, I think the biggest takeaway from Jordan Love, the dude, is just how composed he is. He is one of, I would say, a quiet leader. He's not one of those extremely loud people that you're seeing on a field, but there's just so many people that attract to him because of his leadership style. And I think as he's getting ready to go into year 3 as the starter here, I'm not going to say he feels the weight on his shoulders by any means, but it's just been really great getting more to know him throughout this process, because obviously we knew him as the draft pick, the backup, and then now ultimately the starter. And I think he's stepped into the role really well, but there's obviously a lot of eyes going into this year. The thumb injury was kind of an issue this training camp, but also one of those situations he was really open on is, I'd rather get this all figured out now, because he had dealt with injuries for most of last season. So he's rather feeling like he could go into this season at 100%, getting that addressed now.
You know, the other part about this, talking about the Green Bay Packers and that quarterback situation, is not only does he have the banged up thumb that he had the ligament damage on, so, you know, they're kind of playing some fake 7-on-7s and so forth. Yeah. I mean, receivers, he's got 3 receivers that are out at this point. So the first time these guys get on the field, if they all get on the field in week 1, is going to be against they're definitely the best team in the North for the last couple of years, the Detroit Lions. Not exactly ideal for the Packers, and it could be a bumpy start as these guys try to get used to playing with each other again after not having played together for the last month.
I think for me yesterday too, it really came into a full vantage moment when I was actually looking at the schedule, planning my next month, and was like, well, yeah, we've obviously got the Lions in week 1, but then they've got that quick turnaround in Thursday Night Football just a few days later. And so, yeah, the chemistry is one thing, but then to not even be able to probably go through whatever happens on that game film after week 1, and you're immediately playing another great opponent like the Commanders. But that was a question I asked Jordan Love on the sideline on Saturday, was how difficult is it building chemistry with a group when you haven't even had the group fully out there this training camp? And it's unfortunately a situation that stretches even farther than the receiving corps, because you take a look at that offensive line, and Aaron Banks has been so banged up. Rasheed Walker saw, I think, just a little bit of playing time this past week. I'm interested to see, obviously, what happens at that left tackle spot, because I think Jordan Morgan has really established himself there this training camp. But there is a lot to be said about going into a week 1 game against the Lions. You know that this is going to be another division, the NFC North, that it's like this is the division to beat. And you don't want another situation again of where they're 1-5. And so it's like you really got to establish yourself with a big win against the Lions in week 1. But I'll be interested to see what happens, of course, when maybe this next week is really going to be the only time Jordan Love is finally getting able to go into that 11-on-11 stuff. I'd asked him last week when we had pool media availability with him if there was any timeline for that, because of course you want to get some sort of interaction or being able to have, pass rushers come at you and stuff, but that's something that they're kind of keeping at arm's distance at the moment because they don't want anything flying towards that injured thumb. Right. So that's also another question, is that the first 11-on-11 action you're going to see is week 1 against the Lions too. So he wasn't shying away from the fact that it's definitely been a bit difficult to build chemistry amongst this offense. But on the flip side, and Adam Senovich said the same thing in a production meeting, is how great has it been able to see a guy like Matthew Golden get the reps and build that chemistry with Jordan Love, because otherwise he would have been quote unquote lower on the depth chart, where he wouldn't have gotten as many valuable reps as we've seen in training camp.
And let the record show, Tommy Wirtz, that I just now met Ashley Washburn, so I'm not going to yell at Ashley Washburn during this interview.
That's good.
I'm
good
not going to
start.
go down the Jordan Morgan, Rasheed Walker lane like I yell at everybody else about on this show. So I'm just going to leave it alone. We're going to move on.
Sparky hates Jordan Morgan.
I don't hate you. Well, that's a whole nother conversation about my thoughts on this unfair competition that just occurred in Green Bay. But we'll move forward. Ashley Washburn, TMJ4, joins us. Follow her on Twitter at Ashley J. Washburn. The wide receiver cuts obviously coming out today, right? So Isaiah Neyer is gone. Cornelius Johnson is gone at this point. Kawan Baker was already gone, I think, last night. So they've made some cuts already, the wide receiver core. Your thoughts? Does McCole Hardman and Malik Heath, one or the other or both, make this team, knowing that at least Christian Watson is out for sure, and we may be without the other two, and Wicks and Reed possibly too?
Yeah, that is a question I was trying to prepare myself to answer hopping on here, because I knew that was going to be an argument, is what is that going to look like come cut day in that wide receiver room? Because I think you look at Malik Heath, he had a great training camp. He's a guy that you can put out there in certain situations. McCole Hardman, we saw a few mistakes. I wouldn't say he was as productive on offense in that wide receiver room as we'd wanted to see, but if he was kept, it was because of being in a returner role. So that's kind of where I'm leaning one way or the other, is, are they wanting him to come as a returner, or you've got a guy like Malik Heath who you possibly could get a little bit more production out of in terms of a wide receiver point. With how banged up that wide receiver room is right now, I think I would lean towards Malik Heath. I'll be interested to obviously see how that pans out by the end of the day. But that's, I think, the way that I would go between those two possible choices in that receiver room. Maybe there's a situation you can keep both of them just because of how banged up that room is. But again, if it was really between one and the other, I think I'd go Malik Heath in that situation just because of the state of that room.
I'd cut both of them and go with two young guys. That's where I'm at on both of those guys. Football Talk on the Fan is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much these days, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL and CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday. CBS and Paramount Plus all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. When we talk about the other side of the ball, the linebacker room, Isaiah Simmons was a guy that came in, and Isaiah Simmons was a guy that everybody was excited about coming into training camp. Oh my gosh, he's so athletic, and him and Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper, it's going to be amazing. I was one of those fools. And then, he plays a couple of games and you start looking at the film and you're like, okay, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's kind of all over the place in this one. And then there's a report out today from Matt Zenitz that Isaiah Simmons is expected to be released at this point. How surprised are you by that?
See, that was one of those situations when I started seeing that first and second preseason unfold. I wasn't necessarily surprised that that might have been the case. Like you had mentioned, yeah, I think there was a lot of people that were really high on Isaiah Simmons just because of, the draft value that was in him a few years ago. There was a lot of Packer people that were high on him, being able to get him into a defense where they were only going to really give him like one role, one thing to focus on, because this was a guy that they really had pulled him in many different ways between his other two teams. And there were flashes that we saw in training camp of, okay, maybe this is what the Packers were talking about. This is what the Packers saw, bringing him in during free agency, but getting him in an actual game situation, you weren't necessarily seeing that translate, which at the end of the day, that's what this is all about, right? Is being able to put a guy out on the field in these game-like situations who can come in and make plays. Now, I will say when it came to this last game against the Seahawks, I thought he put together his best game out of the three. And it was one of those situations where I think a lot of those bubble players is you either come into this game and lay everything out on the field, or you write your fate for yourself in terms of, all right, you made this decision easy for the Packers front office. You're not going to be part of the 53. So for him to come in and play what he did, I believe in the time that he was in there, he did lead the team in tackles. It's something to think of. That would be the only thing where, even though the projection that you were just saying is him being cut, when you're really looking between Christian Welch and Isaiah Simmons, is do the Packers still see as much value in him when they brought him in during free agency? But obviously you have a guy like Christian Welch who they brought back this offseason because of what he can bring on special teams. He's a special teams ace. So that's another position that's been a toss-up. So in a sense, if Isaiah Simmons is cut today, I'm not surprised, because he did only really put together one game where you know what you have in Christian Welch at this point.
Well, the other thing is, at the end of the day, these last few roster spots are going to be Rich Bisaccia spots of who he wants. That's how the bottom of this roster is going to be filled out. I mean, you're paying the guy $1 million a year, whatever the case may be. He's going to get some say in who he wants on his team. And I think there was a regret last year when they decided to move on from Christian Welch. Tommy Wirtz was pointing out earlier in the show, and they may not want to have that same regret 2 years in a row.
Well, and that's obviously a conversation going into that today, is knowing that when you cut these guys, they're up there for other teams to grab. Yep. And you hope that they come back maybe in a special team standpoint. But yeah, like you said, if you cut Christian Welch, there's somebody else that's watching this and saying, yeah, that's a guy that we want to bring here and be a part of our special teams unit. So that's, I think, when you go back and forth of, do you keep tapping into Isaiah Simmons and maybe the ceiling that you potentially see in him, or do you have somebody solid in Christian Welch who will provide on special teams?
What about that backup quarterback spot? There's a report out. This one, let's see, is Taylor Elgersma, Tom Silverstein in the Milwaukee Journal-Sun. I'll roll with him every day of the week on his report. So Taylor Elgersma out. Now we'll see what happens with Clifford, whether or not he's out as well, and then they try to get through one or both of those guys to the practice squad, or do they keep 3 on the active roster? I think it was 13 teams last year kept 3 on their roster for week 1 of the NFL season. Who outplayed who in your mind between Clifford and Elgersma?
That's a great question, because I also have been looking at it from 2 lenses, as I know other people have, because Sean Clifford being with the Packers now for a few years, you wonder, have we met the ceiling with him, where you look at Taylor and him coming from Canadian football, transitioning to American football. I want to say Adam Stenavich, there's things that like he wanted Taylor to kind of learn more how to like know when to throw away plays or get the ball out quicker, different things like that. But what we saw against the Seahawks, even against the Colts, is like there's flashes of him where he's got some zing to that ball, and there are good decision making that he can do. So it's like, okay, do you go with the guy who's a veteran who maybe is at his ceiling, or do you go with a guy like Taylor who has potential that you could build into a backup quarterback position? And so I guess the question is like you mentioned, is so if you cut both quarterbacks, or if you decide to keep 3 on an active roster, I truthfully don't think the Packers will keep 3 on the active roster. I think those are spots that they are, like you said, Rich is going to be trying to fill out his special teams unit, or some of those other bubble players where if you decide to keep 7 receivers or different things like that, I only see it being 2 receivers. Now, if you could bring one of those guys back on the practice squad, now that's where I think the real debate is, if they clear waivers, is do you find a project in Taylor, or do you just stay with a guy like Clifford knowing that he's probably met his ceiling? If it was me, I was impressed by Taylor for him not
There you
having
go.
much experience with American football. But again, knowing that if there was ever a situation where Jordan Love got hurt, which you hope that's not the case, that still is going to be your backup quarterback. So how do you feel with him backing up Malik Willis if it ever came down to that position? But I think between the two, I would go with Taylor just because what he has brought to the table in his very short time of playing American football, because Canadian football and American football are very completely different things.
Right.
I was impressed with what he was able to do in that short time, which I think is why the Packers decided to keep him. They were open about during minicamp when they brought him in. It was just to have another guy who could throw the ball around. But then they were actually impressed. They're like, you know what, let's keep you during training camp and maybe get a little competition going between you and Sean Clifford.
I like Elgersma too. I would keep him over Clifford. Now, in fairness, I didn't like Clifford coming out of the draft either, and didn't like that pick when they made it. So I've kind of have been anti-Clifford from the start since he's been on this roster. But I do like Elgersma. And I agree with your assessment as far as how they should look at it if they're debating on who the practice squad player is coming back. Ashley Washburn, TMJ4 sideline reporter for the Packers TV network during the preseason. Follow her on Twitter at Ashley J. Washburn. Ashley, thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
You betcha. Take care. There she is, Ashley Washburn, here on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Do you think she'll ever come back on with any show I ever do again?
No, I totally didn't know. It was bad producing by me this morning. I would have never asked her to come on if it was just you. Yeah,
See?
Yep.
At least he's honest.
Yeah, no, 100%.
At least
100%.
he is honest.
Yeah.
So you duped her into thinking it was Crosby and then set her up, and she came out and said, who in the world is this that I got to deal with?
I was kind of hoping she was
Wow.
like, damn, Mason Crosby, they said his hair went really gray over this time and maybe mistaked you.
Let the record show that Crosby had gray hair before I did, if we're being honest, back in his kicker days. It wasn't like he just went gray. That dude's been gray for a minute now.
Yeah. She did just text me, ha, thank you guys for having me on. So maybe it was all good. Didn't matter.
Ashley, I hope
but
I didn't yell at her.
No, I was getting nervous once Jordan Morgan got brought up. I was getting nervous.
You know, some other people I would yell at. Ryan Wood, I would yell at in a heartbeat for the entire interview, right?
I mean,
I would yell at Tom Silverstein, Pete Doherty, all those guys. I'd yell at all of them. But I don't know, Ashley. This was the first time we've ever talked. I don't want to get the wrong impression, because when I yell at you, doesn't mean that I'm mad at you. It just means that I get loud and emotional.
You are a very loud and emotional guy, and I think that's why we get along so well. Is because we're both very loud, emotional guys, and
Charlie is not.
He
balances us out.
Charlie is not, and both Mason and Mitch, I think, are more quiet, emotional guys.
Nellis is definitely emotional.
He's just emotional,
but he's not as loud necessarily, unless you put him in a public place,
right,
where all eyes can be on him. Then he gets loud.
Crosby has emotions that you got to unlock with NIL discussions and Hall of Fame ceremonies. Like those are the only. It's the only way you get emotion out of Mason Crosby.
Okay, coming up next, we'll keep you updated on the list. Tommy is doing a great job scouring social media, putting together this Packer cut list with all the different people that are reporting it. I'm telling y'all, like, Easton Butler is really good. If you don't follow him, because when it comes to cuts, the dude is locked in on cuts every year. This has been going on for like 3-4 years now. I feel like he's all over it. Ryan Wood, Tom Silverstein, Matt Zenitz has the Isaiah Simmons one. So we'll go over that entire list coming up next. And we're going to talk about a story that kind of came out yesterday about Romeo Doubs possibly being traded at one point this offseason. We'll discuss that coming up next. Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky in place of Mason and Thunder.
And the Packers are finally on the board.
There you go. That highlight, courtesy of Fox. It is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, official 5G network of the Packers. Sparky here, filling in for Mason Crosby and Mitch Thunder Nellis. Don't forget a programming announcement we made this afternoon at 4 o'clock here on the Fan. It's going to be golden. Make sure you're listening at 4 o'clock this afternoon as we make the announcement on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's here on the Fan and free on the Odyssey app, and that very show, Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, and the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Both shows on the road today at Stenny's out in Lake Country, out in Pewaukee. Come on out, hang out with us. T-shirts to give away, hats to give away, koozies, all that fun stuff to give away this afternoon as we get ready for the Brewers and D-backs game 2 coming up tonight. And we're going to talk about the Packers here, but that game last night, man, like, it feels the exact opposite of what the winning streak felt like. Durbin goes to barehand the ball goes spinning off of his hand. You know, you have that happen. You drill a guy, they make you pay with a home run. Like, literally everything that you were doing to other teams feels like here the last week has been happening to you the exact opposite way, where you make a blunder and they make you pay immediately. They make a blunder and now you can't get the big hit in that big moment when you need to. That inning where it was just hit after hit, and what was it? Average exit velocity of like 80. So, I mean, that was, I'm not gonna say that was luck, but that was impressive stringing that together. And I tweeted out, man, this is a nice little run offensively. The Brandon Woodruff thing, we don't have it as a topic, but we're gonna do it as extra points at 1040. Because you people at American Family Field need your damn head examined about who was there last night when Brandon Woodruff walked off that field. We're going to talk about that because we need to talk about how we're going to act as fans of this baseball team, because I was none too pleased by what I saw last night. We'll get into that at 1040 on extra points. Normally with Mason Crosby, but he's off today. All right, so updated cuts list for the Green Bay Packers. Trey Hill, J.J. Lippy, Johnny Lumpkin, Devontae O'Malley, Tyler Cooper, James Esther. I would imagine all of those, outside of maybe Johnny Lumpkin, most of you are going, who the hell are all these people? Then it's Cornelius Johnson, wide receiver that I like. Isaiah Nair, another wide receiver that looked pretty good in one game. Isaiah Simmons, according to Matt Zenitz, is going to be released. Taylor Elgersma, Tom Silverstein has that one. Kawan Baker, the wide receiver, that was yesterday. Tyrion Davis Price, he is gone as well. He was the running back. You saw him a little bit in the last game. What was it? The fourth quarter of the last game he got in there finally. And then Brant Banks, offensive lineman, is gone as well. Not Aaron Banks, not the guy they brought in from the Niners, but Brant Banks, the guy that you never heard of. Ryan Wood with that one. So that's your updated list. I was talking to Tommy in the break, and the topic that we put together last night was, what would it take for you to trade a Packers wide receiver not named Matthew Golden or Christian Watson? This comes because my boy Jacob Morley on Twitter put this out there from last night. And this is, let's see, Diana Rossini from August 25th, quote tweeting a tweet from Tashawn Reed. Tashawn Reed wrote, due to inability to agree to a contract extension with Raiders wide receiver Jacoby Myers, has requested a trade per source. Rap Sheet and Tom Pelissero were the first to report. Myers going in the final year of his deal and is set to make a base salary of $10.5 million in 25. Rossini quote tweets that. It says the Raiders, Steelers, Vikings, and Jets continue to scour the veteran wide receiver market ahead of roster cutdown day, sources say. Okay, fine. Then have more that goes along with this. The Athletics, Diana Rossini, has stated that 4 teams are looking at the receiver market. I was told by a source earlier this week that the Packers received a trade call about one of their receivers from a team not listed by Rossini. Denver Broncos head coach Sean Payton said they received multiple calls for Devon Vele. Vele, is that how you say? Vele, whatever. Vele, a former 7th round pick who he turned into a 4th round pick after just a year in the league. I was told that the team that called Green Bay was also involved in the Vele trade. This comes on the heels of apparently Aaron Rodgers called on Monday, one day before roster cuts, interestingly, and asked about the status of receiver Romeo Doubs. Exactly 2 months after Tuesday's roster cuts, the Packers will visit the Steelers on October 26th. So we will see if any of these receivers get moved and what it would be for. Having said that, Underneath that tweet from Jacob Morley, the Pack a Day podcast, there then becomes a conversation piece. And this guy, Football Tommy, tweeted at Jacob Morley, Bill Huber, and says, I like Dobbs a lot. I think he's going to be solid for us. But if a team like the Titans offer a third or a second for him in a contract year, man, what would you do? Jacob Morley said, I'd take it. The concussion scuff is scary too. So Morley says, hey, man, somebody comes off as a day 2 pick for Romeo Dobbs. I got it. I'm taking it. I'm out. Funny enough, I literally said that yesterday afternoon on our show that I would trade a day 2 pick for any of these wide receivers if I could get a day 2 pick for any of these wide receivers not named Matthew Golden or Christian Watson. So the question is, what would it take for you to trade a Packers wide receiver not named Matthew Golden or Christian Watson? Would you be willing to move any of these guys? A Wicks, a Reed, a Dobbs? That is the question. Nicolay Law Fan Talk at text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. You can also Facebook and Twitter us at The Fan Milwaukee. And, of course, sound off and record a voice message on the Odyssey app. Send it in, and our guy Tommy Wirtz, other side of the glass, will get it, and we'll play it back for you. Or Charlie Usen will do the same on our afternoon show later today. Watch us on YouTube. We got the dugout chat going on over there, so make sure to participate there. Q is active over there in the dugout chat on YouTube, so make sure to watch that one too. You said off air, Tommy Wirtz, that Peter Bukowski from the Leap newsletter and Locked On Packers podcast joined Andy Herman earlier this morning between 8 and 9 on the Pack a Day radio show. And they got to talking about wide receivers and cut down day, and he said something interesting.
Let me go like way off. The thing is he's hurt. So this is the problem. I would not be surprised if at some point we hear conversations about the Packers looking to trade Jayden Reed.
Okay. Do you want to know who brought something up similar last night? Justice Mosqueda.
Well, see, so maybe it wouldn't be that surprising then, because like this receiver room is crowded, right? And Justice was the one that had the piece in his APC column the other day about, or it was just yesterday, right? About teams inquiring inbound. I had heard some similar things about inbound in Green Bay. I think it was Diana Rossini reported that Aaron Rodgers was specifically like the worst kept secret all spring. Once Rodgers was a Steeler, was like, he's going to want Romeo Dobbs, right? Like everyone and their mother were saying that was the thing that was going to happen. And then sure enough, that's what happens.
Yeah, that's the clip from Peter Bukowski earlier today on Pack a Day Radio. When he said that, I immediately thought like, oh, I got to play this over for Sparky on that reaction. And then my next thought was, wow, the worst take in radio history of Jayden Reed being so important to this offense would happen if he were to get traded 1 year after you say that after a week 1 performance
Crazy
against
takes.
the Eagles.
Tommy Wirtz.
But
last year during the postgame show.
First show of the year that was. I would not be shocked. It feels like now I would be maybe a little bit surprised just based on the room because everyone is hurt.
Telling you right now, if you came to me and said, okay, Sparky, we're going to trade one of these 3 receivers, you know, who do you not want to get dealt between Dobbs, Wicks, and Reed? I'm keeping Jayden Reed.
100%.
I'm keeping Jayden Reed. Of those 3, I'm keeping Jayden Reed. Then Wicks and Dobbs can see you because I'm done with all the stuff. That
it seems like he's getting no action because he's hurt, but really wasn't a part of a lot of the plans when they were in that 12 personnel, right? Throughout the year, it was Matthew Golden and Dontavian Wicks on the outside, I think, in most of training camp.
Reed is going to be a slot guy. That's what he's going to be. He's going to be the guy out of the backfield, that gadget guy to give jet sweeps to if they ever get back to that again. And use them out of the backfield.
Well, I think they believe that Savion Williams can be the gadget guy. And on top of it, I think they want Luke Musgrave on the field a whole hell of a lot more than we think.
We'll see about the Savion Williams thing. Like, I understand that Andy Herman is geeked up on him and loves him. There is a reason this man fell to the 3rd round. And the reason he fell is because he can't catch a football consistently. So,
well, and I remember Aaron Nagler was very high on the pick too.
Yes.
And Peter Bukowski very high on the pick too when it happened for Savion Williams. But I just think that they don't have enough in the room that is healthy right now. Do you think all of these guys are going to be ready week 1? I mean, between all the injuries, there's no way. There's no way that's going to happen. So that's why I do think there's an opportunity that they keep 7 instead and bring on a guy like Malik Heath and McCole Hardman to stay with them because I don't know how healthy the wide receiver room is in general.
So let me ask you this. Would you rather trade Reed, Dobbs, or Wicks for a pick and then keep Heath and Hardman.
Oh, no. No, I would keep all three of those guys before Malik Heath and McCole Hardman.
Right.
100%.
Yes. And the other part about this is if you're the Packers and if you're looking at this, my question to you is, okay, if you trade one of these cats for a draft pick, which again, I get, right? Get draft pick. You think you got a lot of depth. That's cool. What are you doing with the back end of this wide receiver room at that point? Because now you've got two rookies in there and Savion Williams and Matthew Golden. And then let's say you keep Dobbs and you keep Wicks. Let's say they trade Reed, which again, crazy to me, but so now you're at 4 deep at that point, right? So now you're at Dobbs, Wicks, Golden, and Savion Williams. That's how you're starting the first month of the season against Detroit, against Washington. And then your 5 is Malik Heath and your 6 is McCole Hardman. Is that the answer? Or do you go all in on Young and keep a Will Shepherd and keep another young guy? Or do you look around in the cuts list and go, I'm going to go get me a veteran wide receiver to come in here and be a part of this? Is Jacoby Myers a guy that they would go trade for and bring in at this point?
No, I don't think so. And that's a lot to ask of someone right now to like learn the whole playbook
But Myers is a vet.
Sure.
He's been around.
I
understand. It should not take him as long as somebody else.
Maybe that's the case. But I don't think that it's going to be a part of the Packers plan a whole hell of a lot for Jordan Love and the offense to spread the field. I think they're going to rely on Tucker Kraft a whole lot this season. I think Luke Musgrave is going to be on the field more than probably all of 3 wide receivers, except for the top 3 guys of Golden, Wicks, and Reed. If that's the plan
and
right
then
now.
Christian Watson comes back, and there's going to need to be him on the field, and he's going to be balls getting thrown at him too.
Yep. I just think that it's a Josh Jacobs season waiting to happen with Green Bay, and that's their plan right now.
So this is the thing. If you're Goody and you have a vision of, hey, look, by the end of the year, my 3 wide receiver set is going to be Watson, Williams, and Golden. Those are my 3 guys. Then you obviously make trades.
I got a comment in here from Q, and I want to hear your reaction on it.
YouTube chat?
Yep, in the YouTube chat, the dugout, the bench on the Mason Crosby show.
We call sorry.
It. No, I don't know. I just made that up. Sure. Honestly, I'd be disgusted if they traded Dobbs. He is the only pass catcher with proven hands. Love already has an uphill climb, even with the wide receiver room as is. Trading talent will make the room ice thin. Does Romeo Dobbs have proven hands right now?
Those 3 probably.
Of the names we've said,
3.
sure, but
yeah,
does Matthew Golden not have better hands already than Romeo Dobbs?
Yes.
So I think that proven hands from Romeo Dobbs, I don't know if I think that's a strong term.
Okay,
from
but
him.
this is the thing.
And his injury history.
All right, but Dobbs has proven to be that blanket guy for Jordan Love, right? Those guys get down. When Jordan Love was having that whole conversation, what was it, 2 off seasons ago, last off season, whatever it was, about, okay, any wide receivers you can pick in the league, he always kept going back to Romeo Dobbs as his guy. It wasn't Christian Watson. He kept going back to Romeo Dobbs as his guy. All right, so remember that. The other part about this is you have the Romeo Dobbs, I need more ball, so I'm not coming to practice thing. You have the Romeo Dobbs Instagram post or whatever that was more depressing stuff the week that training camp starts, and everybody was talking about that. You have all of the concussions that come along with that too. And more important than anything else, he does not have the athletic ability, okay, as an athlete of Wicks or Reed or Watson or Golden or Savion Williams. He's a nice athlete, but he doesn't have all the great athletic traits you want necessarily to be that guy. I've said before, he is going to be a good receiver in this league. I don't think he can ever get to be an elite receiver in this league. So if somebody wants to offer you a 2nd or a 3rd round pick for Romeo Dobbs, I don't even care that it's Pittsburgh. I'm out. See ya. Good luck to you.
No.
I make that deal in a heartbeat.
There's no way it brings in that kind of haul. That would be just ridiculous from Pittsburgh. If that's the Aaron Rodgers GM,
pushing chess pieces.
One other name here that just kind of came in from Adam Schefter about 30 seconds ago. Commanders releasing veteran wide receiver KJ Osborne. He's been in the league for a little bit too. Had some time in Minnesota. No. I would rather have him than Malik Heath. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, I guess.
I'm just saying as another type, because there's going to be at least one waiver pickup somewhere on this team, right?
I mean, multiple, yeah.
So looking at just possible positions that they could do that at, is wide receiver on that list for you or not?
If I cut both of them, Heath and Hardman, then I'd probably consider it. But I really like a couple of those young wide receivers. I mean, you've got all in young wise this way too.
Youngest
If you're
team
gonna-
again, by the way.
Right. If you're going to bring in a veteran receiver, they're going to come in here and play. They're not going to come in here and be like, oh, yeah, we'll be special teams guy for Basaccia. KJ Osborne does not want to come to Green Bay and watch all these other dudes in front of him play.
Jeremy Fowler also reporting tight end of your Colts, Jelani Woods, cut today.
Sucks.
And Andy Herman had tweeted out, would be interested for Green Bay. Like, why?
No.
Why do they need another tight end at
No.
this point?
That's
Andy?
just, again, like if you watch his college film, you're like, ooh. And then you watch the pro film, you're like, ooh, he doesn't still know what he's doing.
So
No.
it's literally Anthony Richardson if he was a tight end at this point. Is that what you're saying?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, that's what Ballard drafts: a bunch of athletes that don't know anything or can't grasp what they're supposed to be doing at this point. I'll take a quick time out, come back. Other side, we'll continue talking about the Green Bay Packers. What are the Packers' best set positions for 25, and where are those positions that you're feeling a little wanting more at this point in time? It's the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, live from the 1250 AM at 1057 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky in for Mason Crosby and Mitch Thunder Nellis today. Thunder will be back tomorrow on this show. And again, don't forget, programming announcement we made this afternoon at 4 here on The Fan. It's going to be golden. Make sure you're listening at 4 p.m. this afternoon as Sparky makes the announcement. That would be me on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on The Fan, free on the Odyssey app. And we'll be at Stenny's in Pewaukee today from 2 until 6:30 doing my show and doing the leadoff show with Tommy Wirtz from 5 to 6:30, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. So if you're out in the Stenny's area in Pewaukee, come on out, say hi. That's right. We are live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky in for Mason and Thunder today. Thunder is back tomorrow. Tommy Wirtz never takes a day off, so he'll be here throughout the remainder of the week. I, however, have to move my kid to lacrosse, to the University of Lacrosse. So I will be out the rest of the week starting tomorrow through the rest of the week. Thunder will be filling in for me on Wisconsin Sports Daily, so he'll be doing double duty. And don't forget, coming up later today, 4 o'clock, a programming announcement. Make sure you're listening at 4 this afternoon as we make the announcement on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's here on the Fan and on your free Odyssey app. Also, this show, Wisconsin Sports Daily show, and the leadoff show, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, will be out at Stenny's in Pewaukee coming up later today. Definitely want to be checking that out and be a part of that process too. So, looking forward to seeing everybody out there and have some of those Sun Cruiser vodka iced teas. Yummy, yummy, yummy. While you're out there too. And it's going to be a good time. Get ready for Brewers baseball. Talk more about the Packer cuts throughout the day. So it's going to be fun. Andrew Wagner will join us inside the clubhouse this afternoon. Time to be determined based on the Pat Murphy press availability, as always, inside the Brewers clubhouse. All right, we're going to keep our sights set on the Packers. We are going to go to the Brewers in the next segment, I promise. We will get to some Brewers conversation, but right now, updating the Packer cuts as of right now. Trey Hill, J.J. Lippy, Johnny Lumpkin, the tight end, Devontae O'Malley, Tyler Cooper, James Esther, Cornelius Johnson, the wide receiver, Isaiah Nair, the wide receiver, Isaiah Simmons, who we were all high on. He's being reportedly cut, according to Matt Zenitz, CBS. Taylor Elgersma, the quarterback that a lot of us like, Kawan Baker, Tyron Davis Prince, who got some running back action in that last game at the end. Brian Banks, not the Aaron Banks they brought in, a different guy. And then go ahead. You say the last name of this guy. Israel is what I call him. I'm not even.
Abanaconda.
Yeah, Abanaconda. Yeah.
I told Charlie, Abanaconda don't want none.
Ooh, that's good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's how you got it.
I will say I am always very, very impressed with play-by-play guys, and that's one of the major reasons why I'd never wanted to be a play-by-play guy, because I am the worst at pronouncing names. The absolute worst. Like, I could watch somebody pronounce a name for, I don't know, 6 to 8 hours. I promise you I would screw it up when you're like, okay, name that player, and I would murder the name. And that was part of the reason.
You've done PA, though, in the past, right?
I've done PA, but not PA like announcing team names or anything like that.
I did PA for Parkside when I went to Parkside, and I started with the women's volleyball team, and then I had to late sub for the men's soccer team. I don't think there was one English name on that, and just butchered it the entire time with no prep. I felt so terrible.
So I was watching my nephew play football at Oak Creek over the weekend, and it's, fourth graders playing, right? And he gets the ball, carries the ball, and the PA announcer's like, Fifer on the carry. And I started laughing. I was like, yeah, it's close, kind of, sort of. Fifer.
It's Wirtz all over again, right?
Wirtz, yeah. Right, exactly. You have no idea. Okay, so let's talk about the Green Bay Packers. What are the Packers' best set positions for 25? And what are those positions that you want to see more depth added to, right? Maybe you're struggling a little bit seeing how this is going to work. I think the one position we all agree on is pretty much set is this one.
Richardson floating, too tall and picked off. Xavier McKinney, 2 games with the Packers and 2 interceptions.
Beautiful thing, highlight courtesy of CBS. That there is a position where you're good, right? Javon Bullard, Evan Williams. You've got Xavier McKinney back there. Oladapo's back there as well. You feel good about that safety position as it sits right now. Probably as good about that position as any position on the football team, Tommy.
I think so, yeah. I think that and quarterback, obviously, with Jordan Love and Malik Willis being that tandem probably up there. I think running back could be on that list. I think a lot of people are confident in what Josh Jacobs has, plus the backup situation. I think they're going to keep 3 running backs and then have the designated to return on Marshawn Lloyd. So that's going to be 4 running backs all caught up nicely.
People just don't understand how good that kid is, man. If he ever got to stay healthy and ever was able to play, I don't know, 8 games in a season and get like 10 or 15 carries, You all would see what we're all drooling about, but you're never going to see it if you can't stay on the field.
You cannot say that on the Mason Crosby show. The best ability is availability on the Mason Crosby show. That is also established.
No, it's not. The best what did you say? The best what?
Best ability is availability on the Mason Crosby show.
Not in Anthony Siegler's case.
Didn't
go ahead.
Didn't miss a game for all those years. That's why we have to be like that.
That's fine. But that's not the case for every person.
I think that right now, when I look at the best positions, there are more on the defensive side right now for Green Bay than on the offensive side, I think, where you feel more confident in.
I think the offensive line is a huge problem right now that they have to address. I don't have a huge problem with the starting five. I have a huge problem with injuries that may occur. You have 2 offensive line injuries, you're screwed. You don't have any. You don't have enough.
Isn't every
going
team
forward? You don't have enough going forward. I don't know about every team. I'm just saying about this team, this Packers team. As we said, I'm going to get nauseous if they lose 2 guys for any extended period of time. And if you think I'm going to be sick, Jordan Love's going to be puking in a toilet because after what we've seen this preseason from these other cats on this team. Now, you were talking about earlier with all these cuts coming down today. Maybe they go get a veteran offensive lineman like they did in Philadelphia making that trade. They go pick up another offensive lineman through cuts.
Dan Skipper was one that was cut from the Lions, who's got a little bit of name value, I think, as a veteran offensive lineman. At least he's got some playing time over the last 3 years with Detroit too. He's not just completely green, but I don't know. I think that the offensive line is actually probably the biggest question mark still, and it's not because who's going to be on this team for Green Bay. It's the shuffling of it. I had told Mitch and Mason in weeks past, months past, that I had the idea that you could probably write Jordan Morgan in Sharpie on the offensive line. You just can't write him down anywhere specifically. I think they're trying their best in any way possible to get him on the offensive line starting for the Packers in 2025, whether that is at guard or tackle or wherever on the left or right side they want to do that with him. I think they're just trying so hard to get Jordan Morgan onto this offensive line for Green Bay.
In no world, can you tell me straight-faced that with Aaron Banks dealing with back issues for the entire camp and offseason, with Elton Jenkins getting hit in the back as well, Ryan having to play center and everything going on, you can't look me in the face and go, yep, we're going to start Jordan Morgan at left tackle and we'll rotate in guys to go in there and play guard and see how that goes. And Rashid's going to be our backup left tackle / right tackle. And we'll just take our chances with Jennings and some of these other guys to go in there and play guard. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not there. You just picked up a tackle from Philadelphia already. That just screams that Morgan is going to guard. Like,
who also can play guard, this Darian Kennard.
Correct. So maybe that's how you do it, right? You're going to start Jordan Morgan at left tackle because Rasheed Walker got screwed. And then it's going to be Walker's going to back up Tom and Morgan. And then this guy, Kennard, is going to back up at the 2 guard spots. And then Ryan slides over as your backup center. Maybe that's it. In a perfect world, they wanted Belton to not suck.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. So now because Belton didn't play up to the level that they wanted, they had to go get a veteran to come in here and be a backup because Belton isn't ready, it appears, at this point, Tommy.
I also think that I brought it up yesterday to you, and you don't necessarily like the idea, and Mason didn't
we're gonna
either.
Bring it up again.
But
okay.
I still think that why Zach Tom's versatility is easily his number one trait as an offensive lineman. I know he's great pass blocking, he's great run blocking, but every time you talk about Zach Tom, his versatility is the first point you bring up. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but again, another option is moving him. He already had his contract. He has been paid, so he does not care necessarily. It is what the Packers now want to do with Zach Tom because they gave him that contract.
So let me be very clear on something. Yes, I think Zach Tom would be a better guard maybe than he is a tackle. But like I've said before about Mark Tauscher, I said for the entire time, anybody that heard me on the radio back then, I said for the entire time, that dude would be a stud guard, like Pro Bowl, maybe Hall of Fame type guard. He was at right tackle, still played really well, solid right tackle, and was great his whole career, right? Nobody ever wanted him off a right tackle. To me, it feels like Zach Tom's got to be in that category where he might be better inside because he kind of is undersized for a right tackle. So if he's inside and you have a massive human being at right tackle, if that's Belton or whoever that's going to be, yes, that probably puts you in a better position, especially if you want to push the line. You want to run the football, right? If Zach Tom slides into guard and Belton is at right tackle, that right side got immediately a lot bigger versus having Ryan out there with Zach Tom.
In this situation, it is more dependent on the injury status of Aaron Banks, right? If Aaron Banks is missing week 1, like moving Zach Tom into guard does not sound like a terrible idea, right? You move Zach Tom into guard, you move Sean Ryan to the other guard, you have Jenkins at center, and then you have Morgan and Walker as your tackles, right? That is now a formidable offensive line that makes a lot of sense if Aaron Banks is not ready to go.
Even if Aaron Banks is ready to go, I think that's a better line.
Well, now you just open up another can of worms on that question then too.
But I mean, you're taking Sean Ryan off the field, and I don't think that's horrible, right? So if that
Sean Ryan would be on the team if Aaron Banks was hurt. He'd be on this offensive line. What I'm telling you
is, if Aaron Banks is healthy, Sean Ryan is the backup coming on behind him. So now that starting line is Morgan, who they apparently are determined to make a left tackle. Banks at left guard, right?
Got it.
Elton Jenkins at center. Then right side becomes Zach Tom, and right side becomes Rasheed Walker.
Yeah.
And then it becomes, okay, can we get Belton to the spot where we're comfortable with him at right tackle going into next season to put next to Tom? And if not, then do you go to Rasheed Walker and try to bring him back as a right tackle going forward? Don't know, but you drafted Belton in the second round to play. He's not going to go play guard in place of Banks. He's not going to play left tackle in place of Jordan Morgan. He ain't going to center. So it's got to be on the right side, whether it's guard or tackle. And then you've got to figure out what is his better position, and whatever position is better for him, Tom plays the other position. That might be a way they go about doing it, but it ain't going to be now. It's not going to be until next offseason.
Right. Anthony Belton's not going to see the field this year. I don't think that's a hot take by any stand. Yeah. Also, like, that Escalade nickname, I think, is overrated. I would like to know if the car was in, like,
what?
You're pushing
what do you mean
car.
It's overrated.
He's pushing a car. Anyone, like, they make cars so that you can push them when they are in neutral.
Stop for a second. Why are you so literal about all this? It's a cool ass nickname. If somebody called you Escalade, that wouldn't be a cool nickname.
No, I got Kmart. It's like a way better nickname for sure.
Nobody calls you Kmart.
They call me Kmart on this show, the entire show,
because of the Kmart model thing that came up.
Yes, they are. They love that one. They love that one. Yeah, I think that the nickname, I don't know. If you just want to say he's a big guy, like, sure, all right, fine, we can call him an Escalade. But the video of him pushing a car is not impressive to me to be an NFL lineman. I don't care. I don't care what it is.
There you go. I don't know what to tell you.
You've pushed a car in neutral before.
I love the Escalade nickname myself.
It's also a hand-me-down nickname from the old Escalade. Like, no, that's not an original nickname.
Don't like that either.
No, that nickname was cool when it was given to the other guy named Escalade before Anthony Belton.
Who?
The basketball player.
Who?
I don't remember his name. He was the big guy that played.
Who cares? Okay. I don't even know who the hell you're talking about.
No, it was the One mixtape guy, Escalade. You remember those?
And One mixtape.
Yes.
Who cares about And One mixtape guys?
It's totally a ripoff already. And pushing a car and being an NFL offensive lineman are not that impressive. Get Charlie Usen to put his car in neutral. He'll go push it too. Guaranteed he can.
I'm sure he could.
Yeah. So to be like, look at him show this car, he can push this car. That's not impressive for an NFL offensive lineman.
I will say you are the most passionate person on the face of the earth about an Escalade nickname for Mr. Belton. Like, nobody has shown this much passion about why he does not like a nickname.
Well, he hasn't had a great camp, and then everyone's like, "Oh, Escalade! Look at how great he is!" And it's like, "Well, did you take him because he can push a car?"
No,
like,
they took him because he's gigantic and has quick feet.
He is, and the Packers are moving into a more gigantic style offensive line, right?
Yes,
they are copying Philly and how it really helped them win a Super Bowl, to be honest, with what they built around that offensive line. I just think that Anthony Belton's plans aren't this year. I also think that Zach Tom's versatility it shouldn't be out of the question.
Well, it's interesting. If you put Walker at right tackle to keep him on the
Even
field.
Jordan Morgan at
and
right
then
tackle.
Jordan Morgan said, no, they're going to leave him there at left tackle because that's the future is him at left tackle, right? So get that started right away. So if Walker went to right tackle, Tom went to right guard this year. Yeah. I mean, if you're talking about playing your 5 best, Rasheed Walker is probably a better tackle than Sean Ryan is a guard at this point.
I don't think it's going to happen, to put that
I
out
don't hate
there.
the idea, Tommy.
But I just think that it should not be undersold that, Zach Tom is solidified at right tackle.
because
but
of
if
the
you're
money.
Right. But he's got paid now, so why does he care what position he plays?
And you're paying Rasheed Walker nothing. So
Right,
it balances
right.
itself out at that point for this year. At least it balances itself out. It is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Live from the 1250 AM 1057 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Check us out on YouTube, streaming live there. Check out our videos, our shorts, all that fun stuff on YouTube. Subscribe, like, share, all that stuff they tell you to do on YouTube. Do the same thing for us if you don't mind. The Fan Milwaukee, search us on YouTube. Stream us on the Odyssey app as well, always there. Check out all of our podcasts wherever you download your favorite podcast. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the Brewers game last night and get into an interesting question. Tommy has it written as, who is the Brewers' ace, Freddie Peralta or Brandon Woodruff? I'd like to change the question if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a say, but I got it.
Who would you rather have start game 1 of a playoff series?
It's kind of what I was going for anyway. Yeah, that works.
Because if we're being honest, I don't think either one is an ace. But who do you think starts game 1 of a playoff series for the Milwaukee Brewers? If you're looking to have somebody start game 1, who is it for you? We'll discuss that coming up next. Time for your fan weather forecast. 65 degrees, sunny skies, beautiful day out today. A high of 71, low of 51. Welcome in the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Sparky here. Charlie Usen is coming up later this afternoon with myself on Wisconsin Sports Daily. Starting up by Weddings will be live at Steady's in Pewaukee. And Tommy Wirtz will be out there with the leadoff show from 5 until 6:30.
Oh, what a save. That's a pro save right there. That was awesome. That was great. That was great. Oh, man.
Tommy Wirtz over there. Dude, don't feel bad, man. Like my
No,
9-year-old,
I don't.
my 9-year-old, I call him the dog's name. I call him the 18-year-old's name. The 18-year-old, I call the 9-year-old's name. The whole deal. Like the only one whose name I get right is the girl. That's it. Because I'm not going to call her mom. I've not done that yet. Maybe at some point when she gets older, but I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, my mother's the same way. I get my sister's name all the time.
The 9-year-old yesterday, I tried 3 times and I said, "You know what your name is?" And he just laughed at me.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's how it goes. I'm not going to get old. That's my plan, Sparky. I'm never going to get old.
Great plan. I hope it works out for you.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the Milwaukee Brewers. We'll keep you updated on the Packers cut list as well. Names of note that you may know: Cornelius Johnson, wide receiver; Isaiah Nair, wide receiver; Isaiah Simmons, the linebacker; Taylor Elgersma, the quarterback as well. And what's the running back's last name? Israel.
Oh, I got another one to add.
Abanaconda. There's the other one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And McCole Hardman just coming in now here as well. Reported from Jordan Schultz. McCole Hardman as well. Now that just happened within that break right there.
It's been real. Again, if you didn't have rocks for brains in the one preseason game where you didn't know what you were doing fielding a punt, then it wouldn't be as bad. But multiple errors in one game when you're brought in for special teams and you're a vet and you do that, that was done. They could have just cut him after that game and said, "We're good. We've seen enough. Let's move on." So that's not too surprising. Now the next question is, now that McCole Hardman's out of the way, is Malik Heath going to make this roster, or are they going to replace Malik Heath with a younger option or go get a veteran option through trade or pickup on cut day? I'm not surprised about McCole Hardman.
I just really want it to be Julian Hicks, man. I'm telling you, that guy is good. I'm gonna die on that Julian Hicks.
I like Julian Hicks, but I like Will Shepherd too. So either one.
Sure.
I'm fine with either one if they want to go with either one. I've just had my fill of Malik Heath after this trading cap and stuff. Like, I'm good. We can roll. But again, it's going to be Bisaccia at the end of the day, hammering for the best special teams players to make this team. So if McCole Hardman isn't on this team, who's returning kicks and punts? Keyshawn Nixon! We know you don't want to do it, but baby, you're back in.
That's so dumb. Gosh,
You're back in.
I hate it.
You're
I
back
hate
in,
it.
Keyshawn Nixon.
No, because he's going to get hurt on kickoff, and then everyone's going to be like, why is he returning kicks if he's our number one corner? And it's going to be a whole ordeal then.
But then again, so this goes back to this wide receiving core then. So either you have to have a corner that can return kicks. That's not Keyshawn Nixon. I don't think they do. Or you have to have a wide receiver that can return kicks that you're not too concerned about getting hurt at the end of the day because you've got enough guys. So again, I'm going back to Will Shepherd. Can Shepherd be that guy? I've not seen Hicks return squat. So if he can return kicks, I don't know.
It's because he's too busy catching the football when it's thrown to him. 3 for 3 on targets this week again.
Fine, fair. But if you're looking for a return guy, Malik Heath is not that return guy, right?
No.
So Shepherd, if you think he can return kicks, maybe he makes the team over Heath. I'm lobbying. If you're listening in Green Bay, if you're listening, trying to figure out who those last cuts are going to be, listen to me and Tommy. We got you.
I know. I'm passionate about the wide receiver position. And with McCole Hardman not being on the roster now, I don't know what they do. I don't know what they do. It's interesting. I thought they had a chance to keep 7 wide receivers on the team. Maybe this also kind of points into a direction for me. Like, they could have kept 7 wide receivers and 4 running backs with the math, even without putting Marshawn Lloyd on the designated to return list.
I would keep 3.
And so now I'm wondering what's going to happen with that. That's the corresponding move. If we won't see Marshawn Lloyd enter that designated to return list, or if they're going to cut a running back in a surprising role here, or keep a surprising wide receiver, if that happens too. So interested to see what happens after that McCole Hardman domino falls.
I want to point this out. We are going to get to the Brewers, but Mason Crosby being here today would have been kind of cool because we would have had the ability to talk about cutdown day and what it all is like and what this goes through. Listen, some of these guys' names you don't know, right? Because, you watch preseason games, but you don't care about Tyler Cooper, or Trey Hill, offensive lineman. Most of you don't know who Brant Banks is, right? But their career may be over, man. This may be it, right? You may not get to play any more football going forward. This may be it for football. Now they got to go get a real job like everybody else that went to college, and the NFL dream is over. Some of these guys, think their dream is over and then may get picked back up and may end up back on a practice squad at some point. So there's that too. But this is a very tough and trying time. It's kind of like you play like youth baseball all the way up, or basketball, right? And then it comes time for the high school team and you get cut and you're done. That's it. It's all done. You're all done. No more playing team basketball at that level if you don't make it in high school. Then there are people that play all the way through high school and don't get a college scholarship offer. And then you're done. And that's it. And when you play that last game in high school, you're like, damn, that's it. Like, I got nothing else. It's all over. And that's why you see people get so emotional and so forth. There's a lot of emotions, I guarantee you, going on with different players on this list, especially those that haven't talked to the Packers about possibly being a practice squad player. The one thing we learned previously with these Hard Knocks episodes is most of these teams will communicate to their guys of, look, we're letting you go, but we want you back on the practice squad if nobody picks you up, man. We want you back. And then the dude is like, all right, man, cool. All right, sounds good. I'll be back, right? Until then the guy says, screw you. You cut me. I'm going to go be on the practice squad of the Lions or whatever the case may be. But normally it's communicated. So if you don't get the practice squad communication between you and the GM and the coach and that meeting in the office before you walk out, then you're like, okay, well, I'm not in the practice squad here. Now I got to hustle. My agent's got to hustle and see if I can find a practice squad somewhere else. And then if it doesn't work out, what are we talking about? Then we're talking about the XFL, right? Yeah, forever, how long that lasts.
Coaching and, university football coach type
but you
thing.
can still
also
play with the XFL and play with that rock venture.
Yeah.
It's still there and be there and play that springtime football and try and work yourself back in the league. But that doesn't pay squat. So you're still going to have a real job probably between now and then. So it's just a really sad day for a lot of dudes getting cut around football. A couple more cuts added to the list. Bill Huber, Lecidia Smith cut, and Amar Johnson cut as the running back room continues to get cut down as well. I'll tell you the other one to pay attention to is that safety who had that lung issue, Omar Brown, and what they do with him, right? Are they going to straight up cut him and then try and sneak him through back to the practice squad, or do they keep him? I can't imagine they keep him. I mean, they could keep him and say IR for the whole year, right? Done. He's out for the year with his lung issue, and then he doesn't play all year, but he's still, of the Green Bay Packers and on their payroll and so forth, and nobody can snatch him off a practice squad or anything like that, and you protect him. I don't know. Something to look at going forward here. Still to come, Mason's extra points we will get to. I want to talk a little bit about the Brewers here and what we were talking about before. Okay, so of the Brewers starting pitchers, which one would you feel comfortable with right now today being your game one starter in the postseason? Which one is your number one starter for game one of a postseason series for the Milwaukee Brewers? That is the question. Nikolai Love Fan Talk, text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. You can also Facebook and tweet us at The Fan Milwaukee. Also can record a message and sound off on the Odyssey app. Goes directly to our producers, Tommy or Charlie. And then obviously the other way of going about things too is with the Dugout chat right there on YouTube, the YouTube chat that we call the Dugout. You can get in there and go back and forth with other people watching the YouTube chat. You can also message us through the YouTube chat, and we'll read those off on the air. Last night, watching Brandon Woodruff, he was looking really good. And the one thing about Brandon Woodruff, the same thing about Freddie Peralta, the same thing about Jacob Mizorowski is, while all three of these guys have had their moments where they've looked really good, all three of them have consistently not gotten deep into games. The only guy in this roster to get consistently deeper into games has been Priester. These other three have not done that. And when you look at the postseason, and you're going to have days off and all of that stuff, but when you look at the postseason, do you want to be in a position where that first guy going out is going to be the guy that may not give you more than 5 innings at this point? Because as we said, Freddie Peralta gives you 5 innings. That's all. Saturday, he was at 60-some pitches, and we were in the 3rd freaking inning, folks. Logan Webb got to 60-some pitches in the 5th inning for the Giants in that game, right? Brandon Woodruff, same type of situation where pitch count and being good with that pitch count. And he was rolling. And then the 6th inning came and it blew up, right? You get a weird spinning ball to Caleb Durbin that he tries to bury in and can't get. And then you give up the 3-run homer. You hit a guy. Like all of that kind of works against you and give up that one big inning. And Woodruff after the game was like, wow, it was a baseball inning. Okay, well, call it whatever you want, but you gave up 5 runs in one inning, one half of an inning. And you cannot have 5 runs being up in a half of an inning in a postseason game like that, and for it to happen that quick and end that quick. Now, I would think in a postseason game, Murphy would have had somebody up in the bullpen to start the 6th. Like he would have been ready. At first clue of problems, we're going to go get somebody in here. But as always, lately, they have nobody to pitch in the bullpen. So they had to let him pitch and stretch out as much as possible before they went to the bullpen to try and help themselves out. And thankfully, they ended up winning that game last night. Uribe comes on with the save and all of that with a really athletic play to get the last out of the game. But I think I would leave Brandon Woodruff over Peralta. If we're talking about who's going to go the deepest, I think I would lean Priester over the other two, but they don't have the guts to start Priester in game 1. So I would say it's going to be Woodruff in game 1, Peralta game 2, Priester game 3, and then if you're going to have a 4th starter in a playoff series, it'll be Quintana. That would be my guess. Tommy Wirtz, what say you?
Yeah, I think that my dream plan for game 1 and game 2, I have it mapped out already for the Brewers. And before that, just want to confirm Malik Heath on his Instagram confirming he has made the team as well. So he will be probably that 6th wide receiver making the team for the Green Bay Packers. But the scenario for the Milwaukee Brewers that I think works out perfectly is Brandon Woodruff starts game 1. Brandon Woodruff gives you 5 to 6 innings. I feel you can feel pretty confident on that. And Jacob Mizorowski is the first guy out of the bullpen in game 1. And then Trevor McGill closes out game 1. In game 2, it's Freddie Peralta, Aaron Ashby, Abner Uribe in this exact same role. And I think that gives you the best chance for Milwaukee. Again, if everything works out perfectly for them, but that would be my take on it. Maybe depending on the matchups, you switch up Ashby versus Mizorowski if there's more lefties in a lineup, if there's more lefties on a bench, whatever it is. But I think that the Brewers have a path to the 9th inning in both game 1 and game 2 with that combo of Miz follows up Woody and then Ashby follows up Peralta.
I think there is real life scenario where Robert Gasser is in the bullpen for this Brewers team in the playoffs. I think it's real life because you do not have that lefty in DL Hall that you're looking at right now. And I think if you can have Ashby behind Woodruff, Gasser behind Peralta, or flip-flop the other and follow that righty with a lefty and screw up the other team's lineup by bringing that in, making them make a bunch of changes, and then come back with your righties out of the bullpen and having them have to burn up their bench against those lefties, I think you feel good about it. And then as far as Mizorowski goes, I don't know. You could put him after Priester, I guess, at this point.
Maybe.
Or after Quintana if there's a 4th game there.
I think him after Freddie doesn't make as much sense because I like the disparity and the difference in the velocity that happens. If he comes in after Woodruff, a guy who's painting with 92, well, then Miz puts on 10 more miles an hour
looks
from
a
there.
Lot faster.
Looks a lot faster.
Agreed.
Right. So
Yep,
I think that him coming after Priester has a very similar pro as well with that, where Priester's a guy who doesn't really get up to 95 miles an hour all that often. And then you add that velocity onto it. I mean, Freddie's touching 99 at some points this year. So I don't think that it benefits Miz to come after Freddie Peralta. But I do think Miz will be coming out of the bullpen. I think he's going to go into that long leverage relief type role that they have going on with Aaron Ashby, that they had going on with DL Hall. I think it would work out really well for Milwaukee. Game 1, that plan, like I said, you can even save McGill for game 2 as well. But I feel just as confident with Uribe at the end of the game as I do with Trevor McGill at the end of a game.
We were talking about this yesterday on Wisconsin Sports Daily. There's a great piece on brewerfanatic.com on the slide of Trevor McGill here in August. And it goes into great detail about he's already pitched 5 times with no days of rest. That's just since the trade deadline, I want to say. He's had 3 other games where it's only been on 1 day rest. He is being used a lot. And it goes into detail about, if he is getting tired and so forth, here are some of the points to watch with different numbers as far as him getting tired. Besides just velocity, movement and everything else. And you can see, based on how Brewer Fanatic laid it out, Matthew Trueblood, that's the guy's name, I believe, how he laid it out. It does look like some of this could very well be he's just getting worn down and he's getting tired. He's a big dude, but still, he's getting asked to pitch a lot. You know, the amount of 0 days and 1 day rests that he had last year, he is at right now in August. Matches what he had all of last year. He's at the same amount of 0 1 day rest, which I believe are 25 so far this year off the top of my head. And he's already there. And we still have, a month and a week left. We haven't even gotten to the postseason yet. So that is of concern. That's why more of these games where it's Uribe instead of McGill, I'm okay with. And I'll be honest, I'm okay if it's Mears instead of McGill or Uribe if you need somebody to close out a game. I'm not as trustworthy of Canning. But I think I'd be okay in those scenarios too. And you talk about Grant Anderson, a guy that now just went on the IL, as far as how he plays in. I don't think he's in this playoff bullpen for the Brewers necessarily when they get to the postseason. And I think they're going to decide to go with a longer arm than a shorter arm in Grant Anderson. And I think that's how Gasser ends up on this in this bullpen at that point. He's got another month to where he can continue to work to get better. And he very well may be that pitcher that they add when they go to expand rosters in September.
Yeah, and on top of that, too, DL Hall is supposed to be coming back late September, early October as well.
You just got to act like you don't have him.
I assume that that's probably where they're at with the postseason roster, but he put in a lot of work as well throughout the season that if it's going to be DL Hall or Robert Gasser on the playoff roster. I think they are the same role. And now you're going to have to waver in maybe the health of Robert Gasser versus the production that you got out of DL Hall in that role. But I do think that it works out perfectly for Milwaukee if you are able to get 5 innings. Yeah, in the playoffs, I would assume 5 innings is going to be even more of like, all right, perfect. You did your job from a Woodruff or from a Priester or a Peralta in that scenario. I just think that those long leverage relief guys they've been using all year are going to have an even bigger role in the postseason, being the first guys out of the pen to either put out fires or continue the burn. Like that is where I am at with Aaron Ashby. I think he's going to have a huge role in the postseason. I just think it's going to be massive.
Okay, so we're going to get back to talking some more Packers. Got Mason's extra points coming up, which will be about you fans at the Brewers game last night. Just saw an updated list. Tommy's got this updated list going on. The latest, his guy, Julian Hicks, the wide receiver, according to Bill Huber of SI. He has been informed he's out, but that makes sense with McCole Hardman. Not McCole Hardman. McCole Hardman's already been released. Julian Hicks already released. But according to Malik Heath on Instagram, he's made the team.
Yes, and I got 2 more here to update for you. Mark McNamee, the Easton Butler, had reported that was the international pathway kicker that they had on. And as well, Bill Huber reporting Will Shepard has not made the team as well.
So they're keeping 6, right?
Right. Well, 5 plus Watson, right?
5 plus Watson. Is that where we're at?
I think so, right?
So it's Golden, Savion Williams, Dobbs, Reed, and Wicks. And then Watson would be 6.
And did we say Malik Heath?
Oh, and Malik Heath. Right. So
okay, so it's 6 plus Watson. Yeah.
Correct. And I still don't know if those other guys are ready. Like, are those guys ready for week 1? Is that what we're doing here? Because you obviously would like to have Julian Hicks back on the practice squad, right? I would think they would want Will Shepard back on the practice squad as well at this point. You're going to take one of those running backs that you cut, Abanaconda probably onto the practice squad would be my guess for him. You're going to take one of the quarterbacks. I've not seen Sean Clifford's name.
No, he's
Are they keeping 3?
No.
Are they keeping 3, Tommy?
Dude, don't do that.
Are they keeping 3, Tommy?
Don't say something.
Can they say, hey, Jordan Love can't stay healthy. We want to be protected, and we think Sean Clifford gets claimed, and we think he's really good, so we're going to keep Sean Clifford. I don't know. We'll see, because they already cut Elgersma, and Sean Clifford's not. And if Sean Clifford's going to the practice squad, he should be gone too, right?
Maybe they're looking for one of the Browns quarterbacks, Sparky. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know either, but I will tell you what I think of you Brewers fans at last night's game. Coming up next, Mason's extra points. Plus, we'll keep you updated on that cut list as well. It's Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky filling in for Mason and Thunder.
Fly ball, left field, it is deep, it is gone! There's some insurance as Durbin homers again.
What are they feeding these short dudes with the Brewers? Like, what is going on, man?
Power of friendship.
What is going on? Caleb Durbin is 1 home run away from hitting double-digit home runs for the Brewers. I think he's at 9 now, right?
He is at 9, yes.
That is crazy. Highlight courtesy of FanDuel Sports Network. That made the Brewers lead 7-5. And the Brewers end up winning yesterday. And Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Both shows on the road this afternoon at Stenny's in Pewaukee. Come on out, visit us, hang out with us. I'll be there from 2 to 5. Tommy will be out there 5 to 6:30. We'll have all kinds of swag to give away, shirts, hats, koozies, all kinds of fun stuff. Stop by Stenny's in Pewaukee later this afternoon. Plus, we got a programming announcement coming up this afternoon at 4 o'clock on the Fan. It's going to be golden. Make sure you're listening at 4 this afternoon as Sparky, that's me, makes the announcement on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan, free on the Odyssey app. And when you're out there hanging out with us at Stenny's in Pewaukee, have some of those Sun Cruiser vodka iced teas. My goodness gracious, they are good. And you will enjoy those. We have to do this.
I want to know what you're thinking.
What's on Mason Crosby's mind today? It's time for Extra Points, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis on 1250 AM
Tell me what's on your mind.
and 105.7 FM, The Fan.
All right, here we go. Now, Mason, I don't know if he's mostly positive on these. Is he like ragging on things when he's doing this? How does he use this segment mostly? I know sometimes he forces soccer into it.
I would say 9 out of 10 times he's positive. But if there's like a parent who's bad at a high school sporting event,
Right.
like that's where he would say his piece as well.
Okay, I'm going to say my piece on Brewers fans.
Yeah, 10% right here.
Not happy. Not happy with y'all. I was livid last night watching it. And I was like, I'm not going to tweet this out because everybody's going to get mad at me. And then I'm never going to hear the end of it. So I was like, I'm not going to tweet it out. And then I realized I'm going to do it on Mason's Extra Points today. When Crosby's not here today, I was like, oh, I get extra points. That's going to be my extra point. Listen, I understand Brandon Woodruff pitched great for 5 innings. Great. He gave up a hit that should have been in air because Monasterio, I have no idea what was going on there. Like Isaac Collins should have called him off and caught that ball, but it didn't happen. Monasterio missed a pop-up that should have been caught by somebody. That was the only hit Woodruff had given up through 5 to that point. So they sent him back out there in the 6th. He had 80-some pitches going into the 6th inning. And like I said earlier, they were trying to stretch him out fine. He hits a guy, gives up some goofy slow roller that Durbin can't feel because of the spin on the ball, gives up a 3-run jack, gives up 5 runs. And you all stood up and clap for this dude walking off the field in the 6th? What are we doing? I know. Midwest nice, Sparky. We love our guys. I love Woody. I'm going to stand and clap for him every time he comes off the field. I don't care. I want him to know we love him. Well, God bless you. But this standing ovation stuff when you come off the field should be for guys that, pitch great. If he went through 6 innings and gave up no runs, man, I'm with you. Stand, cheer, Woody, Woody. Start the whole chant. Do everything. That dude just got slammed for 5, and you were acting like he threw a 1-hitter. That's not what happened. He was great for 5. If after 5 he was done and you knew he was done, and you stood and you clapped, yay, okay, cool, I'm with you. You give up 5, man. I'm not standing for anybody giving up 5. I don't care who you are. Nolan Ryan, pick whoever you want to pick. Any stud pitcher, Pedro Martinez. I'm not standing if you give up 5 in an inning when you come off the field, Tommy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I know. Just awful way to end the show. I'm sorry. I hate it.
This is a way to send me to my off days.
I am Mr. Positive too with Milwaukee right now, but I don't give up participation trophies.
No.
So that is like my whole MO as well. If he would have got personally, like Brandon Woodruff, I think is still the best pitcher on the team, and I'm not worried about him in the long run, but like plenty more opportunities to clap for him. don't do it after one of his worst innings of the year.
Yeah, no, and I would totally agree with you on that too. I just think at this point, if you are a Brewers fan, just pick and choose. Just pick and choose.
Power of friendship, though.
Was it Bill Huber yesterday said we use the word great too much, right?
It's a good point.
Stop doing that stuff. Otherwise, it's going to be we stand for everybody coming off the field. Just stop. We don't need to be that team, please. That'll do it for the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Live from the 1250 AM 1057 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We'll talk to you today at 2, live from Stenny's in Pewaukee. Come on out, hang out, have a good one. Toodles.